So we have looked at functions and identifying their domains and their ranges, and the x-intercepts and y-intercepts, and even the symmetry, and even whether they were functions or not a function. Where we're headed now is one more description of the function or graph of what we're going on. And we want to look at whether it is continuous or not. Continuity stuff. Now, continuity can get a little theoretical at times depending upon where you're at and what you're studying. Today, we're going to try and keep it as basic as possible. It is just as simple as, can you draw the graph that you see in front of you without picking up your pencil? You would have to pick up your pencil at open dots. You would have to pick up your pencil at vertical dashed lines, which you may or may not see, but there might be a break in the action for what you need. And so that's really where we're going to start, is looking at a graph and deciding whether it's continuous or not. Yes or no. Now, if it is not continuous, the big thing we're going to look at is where, which x values, that's all, and we're only worried about the x values, which x values did you have to pick up your pencil? Okay. So the first place we're going to start is with our green sheet and just look at all of the functions that we've got, our big six, and look at the next thing on the list, which is called continuity. And looking at each one of these, if I start over here, could I draw without picking up my finger? Yep. So it's continuous, just yes. The parabola, also yes. Cubic, yes. The square root could be up for debate, but in general, by our definition, did I have to pick up my pencil? So it's continuous. Just like yesterday with the x and y intercepts, pretty much the same thing. But then, obviously, we got our lovely everyday 1 over x. Is this continuous? No. I had to pick up my pencil to jump over the wall at no, at x equals 0. So you got to just say where it's at. That's that fancy at, the ampersand. So where is it not continuous? And then the last one, the absolute value. I can draw that, lickety-splickety. Okay. So the green sheet, pretty straightforward, nothing fancy there. Now I'm going to show you all three of the IXLs so that you can kind of go at your own pace and see what happens. And they're really all graphically pretty much the same. Make it a little smaller so I can. So they're going to start out with just a yes or no question. Is that thing continuous? And all you got to do is answer yes or no. Can you pick up your pencil? What are you looking for? Open dots or breaks in the action? Oh. Jump up a couple, but I don't think there's anything too terrible here. Whoop, I just saw one there, didn't I? So, something like this. Did I have to pick up my pencil? Yep, so this one is not continuous. Now, the first one, now be careful where you're going to go, so you're not going into pre-calc, so don't go in there yet. I want to make sure you go in the right spot for the IXLs. The first one, they're just answering a yes or no of the whole thing. The second one is going to specifically say at an x value. So go to, in this case, go to 2 for x. Is it continuous there? Yeah. Is there a line there? Is there open dots or jumps or some weird stuff? If there's some weird stuff, you say no. So it's still a yes or no, but now you're going to an actual x location. Let me go a little farther so you can see it. So like if they said at x equals 9, is it jump right there? Yeah, so that is not continuous right there at x equals 9. They'll give you probably where to check. In this case, it said at x equals 9, so that would be a no. You might have a graph that is not continuous, but they might ask you a different spot, so be very careful with that. All right. Then we jump to the fourth one. Here's the key. Here you're actually going to have to list the x's of the whole thing. Okay? So here it's not continuous at x equals 6. So the big thing is down here, I'm going to find out if they've changed it or not. Normally there's an x equals over here. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to hit 6 first and see what happens. And we'll have to put the x equals in, so we'll all find out together. Brilliant. So I just have to list it as the x. There might be more than one. Okay? When you get to this one, which is I4, when you get to 85 and it asks about removable, stop, and then we'll talk then. Okay? Now, these three IXLs, I1, I2, and I4, are in the calculus section of the IXL, not in the pre-calc section. So you got to go back to the learning and go into the calculus one. All right? So get I1 all the way to 95, I2 all the way to 95, and when you get to, and it'll be about 85 in I4, pause. Take a time out, and we'll get back to it. If you run into something that doesn't make sense, let me know, but I'll monitor from afar to see how it goes.